Okay, so let's move on. We're going to have a new challenge today. So the link again is bit.ly/8kyu-5 this time. And the title of today's tutorial or session is check same case. So let's read the instruction. Write a function that will check if two given characters are the same case. Same case meaning uppercase, lowercase, are they the same? If either of the characters is not a letter, return -1. If both characters are the same case, return 1. And if both characters are letters but not the same case, return 0. So this is actually kind of self-explanatory. So for this one, lowercase a, lowercase j, so we return a 1. Uppercase a, uppercase c, so return a 1. Why? Because they are the same case and they are both letters. So as is here, here. Okay, b, g, small b, capital G, letters but they are not the same case, so 0. Same thing here, letters but not the same case. But here we have 0, which is a number, and question mark, which is a symbol. So we get -1. Okay, so let's train. This is fairly simple, right? So let me see. Set letters, if they are letters and they have the same case, return 1, right? If they are letters and they have different cases, return 0. And if they are not letters, return -1, right? So let's handle the cases one by one. So now there's a method in Python known as alpha, right? So I'm going to use that method here. So if I say have a word, right, equal to junior, and then I print out word.alpha, which is a method. This is what I'm going to get as my results. Okay, sorry, it's supposed to be letter, not word. Okay, so if we have something like this. Okay, so it's alpha. Sorry for the confusion. This is supposed to be alpha, right? And it's used to check whether a string is an alphabet, right? So in this case, we should get an output of true, which shows that J is a letter. If I were to edit this code and made it question mark and run, I should get false. So as you can see here, a false. So that shows that this alpha is working correctly. So we can use that to make our work easy. So to check whether they are letters, we can use the alpha method. Okay, so we can see if a dot is alpha and b dot is alpha, right? So meaning if a is true and b is true, then what do? We now check if they are the same case. Okay, so check for case. Now to check for the case, we have in Python is upper and is lower function, right? So I can say if a dot is lower, okay, and b dot is lower, then you can return 1 because that's what you want. Else if a dot is lower, okay, sorry, it's upper and b dot is upper, also return 1. So if A dot is lower and B dot is lower, return 1. Otherwise, if A dot is upper and B dot is upper, also return 1. Else, so meaning that at this point there are different cases, so we return 0, which is this. So we've handled this case and this case. Okay, so now what is next is what if they are not letters. So if A dot is alpha and B dot is alpha, do that. Else, so else meaning that either A is not a letter or B is not a letter, or both of them are not letters. So in that case we just return -1. So this is it. Now let's run this code, then I'll talk about something. Okay, so let's test it. So it works. We can attempt also, and it works. The only thing is I want to talk about is we can actually kind of optimize it, right? So we have A dot is lower and B dot is lower, and then we have an else if, but we can just bring this code to this line. So instead of having this and then having 2 return ones, we can just have it once. So we can have if A dot is lower and B dot is lower, or A dot is upper and B dot is upper, right, then return 1. So we can have it like this, and it should still work the same way. So if we test it, it works, and when we attempt, it also works, right? So this is also a brilliant way of putting it, having everything under one if statement instead of having an if and an else if, which will require multiple checks. This code is optimized and faster than the previous one we did. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you for joining, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below.